यस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Om Shanti.
As a parent of a teenager, where should one draw the line in dealing with the child's decisions, especially in the decision of their career path? How can the parent reconcile the guilt of not providing enough for the child? Does prarabdha karma influence the career choice of the child?
See, don't confuse with this prarabdha and purushartha for these sort of choices that you make. Remember this. When you say parent, there are a few points you need to keep in mind. Parenting is not a lifetime job. Remember that. Parenting, the role of a parent remains the same, but the act of parenting is not a lifetime thing. See, the moment the individual, the child, were to start thinking independent, after that, slowly you have to take a back seat. Then, as obligation of a parent, what are you supposed to do? Is to tell the child you are always there as a fallback option. That's about it. No matter what they are going to do. And definitely do not interfere with the career choice of a child. Right? Don't make that mistake. I'm going to be, unless the child comes to you and asks, I am totally lost. What sort of a career I should be choosing? Well, first of all, your life career itself was not chosen by you. You study chemical engineering and doing a stock market trading. What is the connection? Right. The fellow says, I am working in a finance organization, but what is your education qualification? He says, I have studied chemical engineering. Now, what is the connection? There's no connection. And our problem is we have certain understandings with reference to career choice. Another individual has a different understanding of a career choice. Now, do not interfere with another person's career choice, even if were to be your own child. Now, you have just used the word child. When a person says, I'm going to be choosing a film career, he cannot be a child unless he is planning to be a child artist. You know, any field if you take, there is always a group of people who are successful, there are a group of people who are a failure. And industry has its own equations. Each industry has its own equation. And we have certain standards and we have certain expectations. See, I would prefer to say, for example, I can say, I will not have any problem if someone asks me, your daughter is learning, yes, she is learning Bharatanatyam. If I say, nobody will see in any way. Correct, obviously. South Indian, Brahmin, Vedanta classes, Bharatanatyam goes along. Suddenly imagine if she says, I am learning belly dance. Okay? Now what happens? What nonsense is this? You see, the very thought is difficult for me to digest. See, because of my backdrop, career choices, we cannot interfere. I'm just giving a gross example, okay? It's easy to understand. A choice such as this, of course, in every career there is a risk. You can take any field for that matter. Every field has a risk involved in that. And as a parent, what are you supposed to do? I can say what I am capable of supporting. What is the support that you can expect from me? You can have an expectation of, I want my parent to support me for another 40 years. Right? That is what you can ask him. If it is a child, I would sit with that child and ask, boy or girl, I'll say, hey, you're going to make a choice of a career. Now, in this career, for you to taste success, will take how long? Right? Will take a particular period of time. Or, if there is a chances of failure, what is going to be the option? So you can discuss with reference to what is the fallback option. Right? You choose that film career. I don't mind whether you are going for editing or you are going for going for acoustics, sound engineering, or you can even take acting. In that career, what is that we are going to be defining as success? Right? It keeps varying. Nowadays they say if a movie is on the silver screen for 1 week, there is a celebration for that. Successful 1 week. It looks ridiculous for me at my eyes, because for my eyes, after 100 days only there will be celebration, which I have seen as a child. Now, if I tell that to my daughter, a movie was running for 1 year in one theater. Right? It was a movie which I have seen. It was running for 1 year in a theater. She says, what, you people don't have any other job, is it? Why are you guys so pathetic, so bad? Now, success, how we are going to be defining? These sort of questions we can ask and say, okay, tell me what is that you are expecting from me. Now, he may say or she may say, I am expecting this from you. Then you can explain to them, stating, this is what I can provide. You can have your expectations, but I can't be fulfilling that expectation. You can say, I need a Mercedes Benz. I can only buy Maruti Swift. Take it or leave it. You say, no, I want only Mercedes only. Otherwise, I will go by walk. If that fellow says, say go by walk. This stand, many times happens. Either you give me what I am asking or nothing. They'll take this extreme steps. And what you have to do, allow him to take the other extreme step also. Because that is his choice or her choice. Now, don't interfere. And you don't feel sorry. You don't feel guilty unnecessarily. That's what you are asking last. Because I'm not reading the whole thing, because it's going on more. So many parents struggle with this blame and guilt. See, you have to feel guilty only when you are capable of doing, but you didn't do it. Capable, when I say, comfortably you can provide certain things. Certain things can be stretched and provided. Yes, I can comfortably provide Maruti Swift. I can stretch and provide Maruti Desire. Car. I am such a very good fellow. I can stretch and provide a Honda Amaze. Yes. But for me to be stretching myself to be providing, if not Mercedes Benz, at least I should be able to give Audi Q3. Right. He can say, I compromise and come to Audi Q3 you give me. We say, no, that is way beyond my things. Now, I am not able to, provide to the expectations of my child. There's no need for you to feel guilty for that. You have to feel guilty only where you can stretch, because there is a stretchability, no? Like they say, rubber bands. You can stretch it. It is comfortable point is there. A point will come where you can stretch little more than that stretchable. But if you stretch more than that, or if you stay in that stretched position for a longer period of time, it will break. So I'm just giving a material example because it's easy to understand. Same way, a person can be expecting a physical comfort also from us. You see, now I'm going to start a class at 7 o'clock. Means I will get ready by 6:45. By 6:47, I come out of my room. 6:48, I should be sitting with my tea. By 6:55, I should have completed my tea. 6:57, I come and sit in front of my system. I switch it on by then. It should be ready. Correct. Somebody has to coordinate all those things for me, no? Right? For which she has to stretch herself to do so many things. Correct? That is a physical assistance. Then you have intellectual assistance. Then you have emotional assistance. Depending upon what they are seeking. Remember, unsolicited advices never ever give. Particularly the moment the other person starts to believe that they are capable of thinking. Right? If they believe that they know, they seem to have considered, have the trust in your parenting that you have done earlier and allow them. And of course, there is always a possibility of them making a couple of mistakes. They will make mistakes. It's okay. As though you have not done any mistakes in life. You have also done mistakes. You have also erred. You have also committed certain blunders which you will not do with this wisdom that you carry today. You wouldn't have done that. Given a choice, if you go back with the current wisdom, you would definitely say, sir, definitely I wouldn't have done those things. Or I would have done certain things. I made a mistake, sir. The person offered me a piece of land, 60-40 site. He gave for 5,000 rupees. And actually, it's not that I was not having that 5,000 rupees with me. I have that 5,000 rupees, which is just a surplus money. It is simply lying in the bank. I said, no, I don't want all that. Today, what's the value of that? 2.5 crores. Today's value of that same land property is 2.5 crores. Blunder, sir. I should have done that. On plate he was giving me. I would be the first owner that property. No hassles, no nothing. You say what? When you go back, always we will make certain choices that we have made to be a wrong choice. Turned out to be wrong. What is in store for each one, no one knows. But when you are making choices, when you are there as a assistance, Remember, parenting role changes. Like when you are learning car driving, you go to a driving school. In the driving school, they have a car. That driving school car will have a parallel brake. You know that? That's all modified. Driving school cars will have a brake given to the co-passenger. Along with the driver's seat, the trainer will come and sit next to you, and he will also have a brake with him. The moment the child becomes adult, right? No longer that car. Now you have to use your normal cars. What is the difference? When you are sitting as a co-passenger next to the driver, even when you see the driver is making a mistake, all that you can do is what? Scream. Look out, look. That's all you can say. Maximum. You can scream. But can you do anything? You just cannot do anything. That is a difference. Driving school car is only when it is as a child driving school car. Once they become adult, once they grow, what is the difference between a child and an adult, sir? The moment an individual starts believing that they can think they know. This can happen at the age of 5 also. Right? Then that is the choices of that person. After that, don't interfere. There are people who will get it only after the age of 45. Right? The age of 45 only they will think. Till that time, any decision they have to take, they consult. They ask. They ask anyone. I'm not saying it has to be asked only to pay, father, mother only, please. They can ask a brother, or they can ask a sister, or they can ask a cousin or an uncle or a neighbor or a friend or even a stranger. You can go there and ask for advice. Right? That is when you are asked, give your advice. But as a parent, what am I supposed to do, sir? Ensure that you are always there as a fallback option. And always a fallback option is what? After the event has happened, not before that. Your fallback option is always gets triggered. Insurance. Life insurance can be claimed. The term insurance can be claimed when? After the eventuality only, not before that. But you keep paying your premium before that. Similarly, you keep adding things. That's it. If you are not doing it, if you are not alert enough, if you are not even had given your suggestions, relook at. When you are making a career choice, relook, revisit. And what are the things that you need to factor in? Yes, I am taking a particular career. What is that is demanded out of that career? Like for example, if a person says, I'm going to study engineering, okay, he studies engineering and then he does the MBA and then he is taking up a job and he is working in a company and then he keeps growing. Growth happens. Now we need to understand what is the height to which you can go and what is the nature of that career growth graph. Vis-a-vis, a person who takes up law, let's say, and he becomes a practitioner lawyer, practicing law, then their career growth will be how? Their career growth will be, for the first 15 years, what is it going to be? Nothing spectacular. I'm talking about, good lawyers. Very extraordinary, you will see. You see that. But the moment they grew to 55, 60, that's when they say the senior lawyers, they are very different, sir. Imagine a person takes up sports as his career. Then when he becomes 60, what is his? His career is not like that. A sportsman's career is very different. Actor, their career changes. You see, they start off as a hero. After a period of time, what happens? Start doing all character roles. They can start playing all character roles, and then what they have to do? Get on to TV, web series. Then they have to keep, they are not going to be treated as heroes. You know, point. You can't do all that. What Rajinikanth was doing at the age of about 10 years back, 15 years back, he cannot do it today. That career has a different. In that same industry, if I were to be taking this editing, or script writing, or a person says, I'm going to become, dialogue. That career has a different face altogether. What sort of a personality needed, traits needed for that, plus what is the nature of that career, what is your understanding of these two things? This we can ask as parent and ask them to relook it, revisit. But then you don't decide them. And don't go back to that standard equation. Like in India we have Olympics. When the Olympics happens, all of us will say, why India? Where? How many golds India got? How many golds India got? When you send your child to school, first thing we say is what? First you get engineering degree. After that you can do. Where is a chance? You have to sacrifice your academic excellence for you to go in. You may say one or two examples you can show. Those are more of exceptions. Like Rahul Dravid, you can show as a classic example, where he is excelled in academics, also in this, or Kumble, you can show few people like that. But then everyone is not like that. That's a very those are more of exceptions, and every parent will want to feel that their child is exception. Is where attachment comes into picture. To me, my daughter will appear as extraordinary person. That's where we learn to have that detachment. Detach yourself and see and be prepared. And in that preparation, try to stretch yourself as much as possible and be prepared. That's about it. There's no necessity for you to be telling them also, I'm there, you don't worry, all that. I won't even tell them all this. If they are not understanding that you are there for them by your actions, by all that you have been doing, if he is going to understand it only by me making that statement, verbalizing it, that shows how pathetic that intelligence is. So in our Indian culture, we never tell, have you ever seen your father in India telling his mother, I love you? We don't say that. Why we don't say that? And we feel, something wrong with this. He says. We don't have to say that. Why? From the action of that person, I can understand how much he is caring for me or she is caring for me. There's no necessity for her to come and tell me, I love you so much, you are life to me, you are everything to me, I'm breathing only for you. There's no need to tell all those things. Now, today, our society has depleted to such an extent where we can't understand it. That's why, you got to be saying that. I have to prove that I love you so much, how much I care for you. There's no need. From the actions, you should be able to understand. For actions are far more authentic than words spoken. You see, it's very easy to speak the words, but to do it is not easy. You see. So that's that you need to understand. So there's no need to feel guilty here. Under what circumstances you have to feel guilty is only when you have not understood these ideas and stood there as a fallback option. As fallback option means what? All that I can provide at best is certain to my capacity. That's about it. I can ensure that I can ensure curd rice for you rest of your life. Not even curd rice, majjige rice, buttermilk. Buttermilk rice can be assured. That's it. This is what I told my my wife when I went to see her. I said, you can marry me. One thing I can guarantee you. What is it now? I said, I can guarantee more sorrow. If you are okay with it, marry, or else forget it. I had good, bhaji, bonda and all that. I'm sure you also would have enjoyed it. Thanks. She said, that's enough for me. See, it's not that I'm going to give only that. Right? It's not that, for the last 20 years I've been giving her only, majjige rice. For all purpose, she has forgotten what it is to eat majjige rice. Now, lowest is, curd rice for her now. But then we don't say that. We say what? I can provide what? This. Specified. More than that, if you are expecting from me, you cannot. If they say, I made a mistake of taking birth in this family, that's your mistake. What do you want me to do for that? There you say what? Your prarabdha. That's all. You see, their prarabdha comes. Up to this point we say, it's not prarabdha, it is your purushartha. Remember, your life is governed by this purushartha. See, remember, this prarabdha and purushartha are two sides of a coin. Okay. When we say two sides of a coin, what is the meaning of that? What is the implication? There are 2 points implied. One cannot exist without the other. Right? Two sides of a coin, when we say, one cannot exist without the other. Second one is, at any point of time, only one will be seen, other is not visible. At any point, you take all the coins, you throw all the coins on the ground, you can see only one. If the coin is standing vertical, you can't see both. Neither tails nor heads you can see. At any angle you go, right, you can see only one side of the coin. The other side of the coin needs to be direct. It has to be there. You see, you can never transact with it. in Vedanta, we say, see, what is it that you can transact with? This Vedanta says you can transact with Purushartha. You cannot transact with Prarabdha. There is no negotiation possibility. Nothing can be done. Therefore, we say, always keep it the side of Purushartha. Follow what I am saying? There's a problem in Zoom classes. We'll never know what is happening. Whether you're understanding or not, I don't know. Two sides of a coin, we say, because there is always two sides. Is there a possibility for you to get only one side of a paper? Bring me a paper which has only one side. Is there a possibility? It's impossible. But at any point of time, you are going to be writing only on one side. You cannot be writing on both sides. That's not possible. Same way here, this Prarabdha and Purushartha are two sides. There are two forces operating, defining your life. Your life is complete only with these two forces. So in these two forces, which one you can transact? You can transact with Purushartha. You have to infer Prarabdha. There's no necessity for you to infer Prarabdha. That's where the problem, Purushartha. If you say that I'm going to be inferring Purushartha, then you are in trouble. You transact with Purushartha, you infer the existence of Prarabdha. That's about it. There is something called Prarabdha finally. Right? That's why in this is a fascinating text in Tamil literature called Tirukkural. It's quite unfortunate that we cannot take that text because that's in Tamil. Those only who can understand only can understand. There, the arrangement, the 110 chapters, 1100 verses are there, 110 chapters are there. Each chapter has 10 verses. And then those 10 chapters were called as Adhikara. Right? And then he divides the Adhikaras into another section. Compresses all that put together. Right? Yel, that is known as. First one is the verse, Kural. Then you have Adhikara. You can take it as a topic. Subtopics. Then you have something called chapter, Yel. And then something called section, like the text we are doing now, Vedanta Treatise. There is a paragraph, and then there are subtopics, and then there are chapters, and then there are sections. There, he arranges like that. Yel. Now here, few chapters put together will be that few topics added together becomes one Yel. Obviously, it has to be like that, isn't it? Few subtopics put together alone can be a chapter, right? There, he has one subtopic, Adhikara, by name Ool. Karma, or the destiny, what we study. Ool. That Adhikara itself is one chapter. He's It just extracts that one idea and says that itself is one chapter. And the placement of the chapter is also another fascinating one. Where he places it. That's where these ideas, that's where this masterliness of these great authors come into picture. Where they, position the topic. Like the discussion on birth and death. He's positioning this discussion in the chapter of law of causation. Why? You could have discussed as a separate topic, separate chapter itself. Right? But instead of positioning, similarly, there in that chapter, in that text, Tirukural, he positions it. That positioning itself needs a lot of explanation. Then why he has chosen to call one adhikara as one yell itself is because it is to be understood that way. Why he positions there? When you start, he starts giving his teachings. Do this, do that. If you are, what is the dharma of this person? How they have to function? What is the problems? What is right? What is wrong? What happens when you do this? As a result of this happens, that happens, this happens, this happens. Beautiful sequence of idea gets built. Just the topics. I'm not going into the verses itself. Each topic sequence. Fascinating progression of idea. After doing all that, he closes that and starts the next section. Closing one section on dharma, then he moves to another section. Before going to the next section of the discussion, he places it. Why? Anyone will come in and say, my dear master, I have followed all that you have told me. All that instructions that you had given me, I have done. But I have not yet tasted, experienced what you have told me will be the effect. Why? Not only this, I can show you a case of a man who is not following anything that you have been teaching all this while. But he is experiencing all that you said will be the effect of all the karma. I have followed, I am not experiencing. He is not following, but he is enjoying, experiencing. How do you account it? As an answer to that, he gives here. That's why he takes it out of equation. At the same time, it has to be discussed there before he can continue the discussion. Amazing positioning. Why? Your life is always a play of two things, man. In that, he gives a fascinating teaching. He says, Deivathal ahadinenum muyarchidan meivarutha kooli tharum. He says. Now, the very popular one. And people have a very wrong understanding of that, Kural, that verse. Deivathal, Deivam here is not referring to God. That's what people started translating it as. People thought, even God, what is not possible by God, can be achieved through your effort. You say, no, there is a misunderstanding of the word God. Deivam. The meaning, that word Deivam has many meanings. To the context, you need to understand what is the meaning. I'm just referring to Tamil meaning. You see, in Tamil, Deivam means prarabdha, destiny. What is not being ordained in the destiny can be achieved through your Purushartha. That is what he says. Right? But today, our languaging has changed. Today, we have started using a word in a particular way. During Thiruvalluvar time, they were speaking that language and everyone was able to understand. But today, we think, Deva means God. So we think, okay, even if God cannot give, so your self-effort is superior to God. Thiruvalluvar is not saying superior to God. He says it is superior to your prarabdha. Even if your prarabdha were to be to suffer, to go through and a painful experience, with your consistent application of Purushartha, you can overcome that. So, as a parent, what are you supposed to do? What is the obligation of a parent? Even if the child were to turn that coin around and see the prarabdha side of the coin, what are you supposed to do? Look back into the coin of Purushartha. Remember, any field success is possible. Question is not the field. Field doesn't define success or failure. There are pathetic doctors, fantastic drivers. I don't know how many of you know. Check in the Google. What is the salary of a truck driver in US? Their trucks is not like what we see here. Lorry. We say. First time when I went, I got really scared actually. Because we are first of all we are supposed to sit in the other side. Know that we sit driver seat and is different there. And overtaking happens from the other side. So I go there and sit and I was sitting in the front because I get I feel giddy when I sit in the rear seat, so I have to sit in the front only. So I have told the host, I said, please, I will sit in the front, so don't ask me to sit behind. They said, yeah, most welcome sir, you sit there. I sat. We came out of the airport. Of course, all excited. The first time landing there and coming out and seeing the excitement. And then from the airport to their house is they have already told me that it is about 1 hour drive. It's a long drive, but you would really enjoy it because it's a highway. I said something. They said motorway or something. They told me some other name they have, but I understood it's a highway. You will enjoy it. I said thanks. We're sitting there, and she was driving. First of all, the lady driving. First time in US, I was really scared, and the car itself was huge one. The car that we were taken, and we were sitting, and she came. One truck passed by us. The way, he was just passing. We were going at easily about 80 to 100 miles or something like that. The speed, easy 80 is miles. They say. Because I saw that he was going near that 80, 90, something like that. He was going. This fellow is passing. He goes, and he's not ending. It's like good stream, Our lorry will pass. This fellow is not passing. He's just keep going. I was wondering, where they will take a turn. Imagine that fellow has to turn. And she said, that is 16 wheels. Everyone can't drive that. You see, I'm not driving. If you put me there, imagine that fellow has to take reverse. What instruction you will give? How he is going to take reverse, take a right turn, take a left turn? You need extraordinary. Also, there are lousy doctors. You know, I don't know how they became doctors. Many times we wonder by mistake. Have you ever known a doctor fainting looking at blood? Have you heard of anyone, any doctor? I have seen a doctor fainted seeing blood. Unimaginable. Unbelievable doctor. A doctor. Now imagine there are two fellows. Now you tell me who is successful? Right? Who would be your choice? I will feel safe with this driver, but I will not be safe when this fellow is going to say that I am going to do surgery. Elizabeth, don't worry, this is just a small surgery. Elizabeth, don't worry, just a small surgery. Elizabeth, don't worry, just a small surgery. And the patient ran out of the operation theatre. The fellow caught him and said, "Why are you running? Why are you so scared?" The nurse is telling that to the doctor. Her name is Elizabeth. How will you go with that? If they are getting so tensed, making a choice in career. But at any point of time, imagine I'm looking out for alliance for my daughter. I'm getting two proposals. One person is a driver, another person is this doctor, MBBS. Who will I choose? That's a fantastic lecture you give, no? Right? But imagine there is a, two applications comes, let's say, two people send their details. Who will I choose? Paravalla sir, I will choose a doctor only. Doesn't matter whether it is this one or that one. But remember, success is not defined like this. Any field, achievement, success is possible, provided you are consistent in that effort. As parent, what are we supposed to do is to train the child to keep on putting that effort, no matter what. Just keep putting that effort. You will gain. There is nothing that is impossible. This is what Thiruvalluvar says. தெய்வத்தால் ஆகாதெனினும் முயற்சிதன் மெய்வருத்த கூலி தரும். You have to strive. So, as a parent, if you have not trained the child to be consistent in that effort, then you have to feel guilty. There's no necessity for you to feel guilty for the choice that they are making. Field of career. Now, that is none of our business. I say that is up to them to decide. But no matter what you do, you should do it in such a way that you make a mark in that field. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, if you are in that field, if you are in that place, imagine, okay, what is success for me in my field? Success of my field is what? Success of Ishwaran is not going to be defined based on how much is my bank balance. What is going to be defining my success? People should be waiting to hear what you are going to say on that particular matter. Isn't it? That defines my success. Not in terms of what is the number of followers you have in the Instagram or YouTube subscription. I'm not against it, please. It's not that it should not be there. It is something wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. For this field, what is it? What is the factor that defines it? It's not the number of people, please. It is when the world is willing to lend their ears and say, let's see what he has got to say on this matter. Right? Their successes. A success for a fashion designer is what? Fashion designer's success is not based on these things. His success is defined based on how many people are going to be subscribing to that fashion. A particular dress I design and put it up in the market, people should be subscribing to that. People should be willing to buy that. Imagine a first person who designed bullet jeans. Jeans with holes, tone. Jeans that is tone, I thought first time when I saw that, I thought, cringe is a good mother. What's wrong with you people? It looks odd for my eyes, but now you go and see, there are hundreds and thousands of people wearing that. So about 5 years back, 10 years back, the trend was what? Clean shave. Right? Now what is the trend? Everyone has beard now. Now beard oil has come now. How to have, beard, you have to put oil for that and grow. I said, beard just grows, no? Grooming. Beard grooming is there. How you have to, so much of things is now. Now, how many people are, that defines the success of this. Now, we have only one formula for success. Everything should be defined only based on economics. See, if it is profitable, if it is going to be increasing this, then it is success. If not, it is not a success. It's a very poor understanding of concept of success. See, it's a very poor understanding. Each field has. Now, having that ability in me to be conscious of all these factors and guiding my child to factor in all these things and then take a choice is what a parent is supposed to do. But that doesn't mean you immediately give this video to the fellow and say, you also listen to this class now. He will say, hell with you and your Vedanta. You imbibe it, you digest it, you have that knowledge. Remember, a lake, one of fascinating example by Swamiji. He says, no lake makes a announcement. All that the lake does is collects the knowledge, collects water and keeps it. And no lake is spared. Every lake, people go and put pipes and draw water out of it. And what does a lake do? All that the lake does is keeps collecting the water. Similarly, all that you have to do is just collect this knowledge and keep it. It's impossible that people will not put pipe and draw. Our problem is you have one bucket of knowledge with you and say you want people to draw water out of you. Right? If they draw that water, for what they will use that? They will not draw. But for what they will use it? They will not use it for anything good. They will just use it to clean the car parking. They wanted to wash off, they will take a bucket of water. That's it. It will not be consumed. It will not be used. There is no sustainability of that will be there. You want it to be, if you want to be a good parent, what are you supposed to do? Follow the principle of a lake. Collect this water and keep it. It is impossible that it is not going to happen. And the anxiety of us is that we just have a mug of water, a bucket of water. Highest one we have is a swimming pool. A swimming pool water, what they will do? Jump in and enjoy and go back. Right? Nobody is going to be using that water. If you want it to be used, if you want to make a difference, become a lake. Expand. Expansion. And expansion means what? Collect more and more water. Collect that water as much as possible and keep quiet. People will come and draw it out of you. You don't have to worry. Along with that, a word of caution. By nature, those who are very close, near and dear ones will hardly recognize your wisdom. That is the nature of closeness. Remember that. See, Buddha's father is not able to see the wisdom of Buddha. Right? Not able to see it. It's not easy to recognize. It takes time for people to recognize your wisdom. So wait till then. Don't jump into it. They will take it up. But our problem is that by then they will make 100 mistakes. It's okay. With your wisdom, you should have the capacity to pull them up. If you lack that wisdom, then you cannot help them. Either case, there is no problem. If you have wisdom, you can pull them up. You can give a long rope. If you lack wisdom, no point in dragging them, because dragging them, you are going to be, both of you will fall into a ditch. If I know swimming, I can save the child. I'll say it's okay. First time only I drown. No, it's okay. He'll come up. Second time, he'll come up. Third time only I have to pull him out. Till that time I'll say it's okay. Make mistake. You will say it's okay. That is how parents teach. How those people teach is like that. They push you there. If you yourself don't know swimming, then what are you supposed to do? Don't jump into that water. Right? When you don't know swimming, don't jump in. At least you can stand on the shore and keep shouting. Someone can hear who knows swimming, can jump and save. Possible. You may not be able to, but someone can who knows, can jump in and save. Otherwise it is not. Otherwise it's risky. Life becomes complex. Get all these ideas. I'm just giving few. Okay, so many things associated with it. And finally, get the trust in your parenting instinct. You have what you have done, the values that you have taught, the training that you had given, that exposure that you have given, the example with which you had led your life. Trust in that. They cannot go wrong. Trust in that and allow them.